My name is Emily Harper. I'm 31. Last Saturday at 8:47 p.m., I was sitting in my Honda Civic in the parking lot of the Grandview Estate, watching 200 wedding guests celebrate my brother's marriage in a reception paid for by my father, while I sent an email with the subject line, 30-day notice to vacate, to my brother's phone, informing him that the $770,000 house he'd just publicly thanked our father for gifting him was actually mine, and I'd sold it that morning. But the email wasn't the beginning. The beginning was 3 hours earlier, at 5:21 p.m., when I was standing in the receiving line at my brother's wedding. The wedding I wasn't invited to, because my best friend Megan had guilt-tripped Ethan into letting me come at the last minute. Emily. My father's voice cut through the string quartet. He was standing near the champagne fountain with Ethan and Lauren, the bride. His hand was on Ethan's shoulder, protective, proud. You shouldn't be here. Dad, I started. She's my sister, Ethan interrupted. But he wasn't looking at me. He was looking past me, toward Lauren's parents. Lauren wanted everyone to meet family. Family. My father's laugh was short. That's generous, considering. I felt my face burn. There were 12 people within hearing distance. Megan grabbed my elbow, but I stayed still. Considering what? I asked. Considering you've made it very clear you want nothing to do with this family. My father straightened his bow tie. Considering you didn't even help with the down payment on their house. My throat went dry. The down payment? The house, Ethan said smoothly. Dad helped us out with the entire thing, actually. 4-bedroom colonial on Maple Ridge Drive. New roof, big yard. Lauren's family came to see it last month. He smiled at his bride. Best gift we ever got. I opened my mouth, closed it. Megan's fingers dug into my arm. That's my house, I said quietly. Excuse me? Lauren's mother, Patricia, had drifted closer. She was holding a champagne flute. Behind her, 3 of Lauren's bridesmaids stopped talking. The house on Maple Ridge, I said. I bought it 3 years ago. I'm the one on the deed. My father's face didn't change. Emily, don't do this here. Don't do what? My hands were shaking. I pressed them together. Don't tell the truth? The truth, Ethan said, is that you've always resented me, ever since Mom died. His voice carried across the terrace. More guests were turning. You've never forgiven Dad for moving on, for being happy. I let you live there, I said, rent-free, for 2 years. I told you it was temporary. I said you could save up. Dad paid for that house. Ethan's voice was louder now, firm, the voice he used for depositions. He was a junior associate at a law firm. He's been supporting both of us since Mom died. He put me through law school. He tried to help you too, but you were too proud. That's not Emily. My father's hand was up, palm out. Stop. We're not doing this. Not today. Not at your brother's wedding. My wedding that you almost ruined, Ethan added. He turned to Lauren. I'm sorry, babe. I told you she might cause a scene. Lauren's eyes were wide. She looked at me, then at Ethan, then at her mother. I thought, Ethan, you said your sister was… She's complicated, Ethan said. He kissed Lauren's temple. Let's not let this ruin our night. The bridesmaids whispered. Patricia's champagne flute lowered. A man in a tuxedo, Lauren's father, I realized, put a hand on her shoulder and steered her away. Guests parted around me like water. Come on, Megan whispered. She was pulling me toward the exit. Emily, let's go. I let her pull me. My face was burning so hot I could feel my pulse in my teeth. Behind me, I heard my father's voice. She's been struggling for years. We've tried everything. And then Ethan. Some people just can't accept help. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. Megan drove me home. My apartment, a 1-bedroom in a complex with paper-thin walls and a shared laundry room, was 17 miles from the Grandview estate. She didn't speak until we were inside. Tell me you have proof, she said. I opened my laptop, pulled up the county property records. There it was, 2447 Maple Ridge Drive. Owner of record, Emily Christine Harper. Purchase date, June 14th, 3 years ago. Purchase price, $770,000. Megan stared at the screen. He's been living in your house for 2 years. Rent-free, I said. I told him it was temporary. I told him he could stay while he saved up for his own place. I even paid the property tax last year, $11,000. Does he know you're the owner? Of course he knows. I scrolled down to the mortgage documents. His name isn't on anything. Not the deed, not the loan, nothing. Then how is he? He's been telling people Dad gave it to him. I clicked over to Facebook, pulled up Ethan's profile. There were 43 photos from the house, Ethan and Lauren in the kitchen, Ethan grilling on the back patio, Lauren's family visiting for Thanksgiving. Every caption, "So grateful for our home," or "Dad's generosity made this possible." Not a single photo included me. Not one. Megan said slowly. Your profile picture. When did you change it? I looked at my own Facebook. My profile picture was from 2 years ago, before Ethan moved into the house. I clicked over to Ethan's photos, scrolled back 3 years. There I was, family dinner at Dad's house. Emily and Ethan at Mom's grave. Emily's graduation from real estate school. And then, nothing. 2 years of photos, and I didn't exist in a single one. He's erased you, Megan whispered. I closed the laptop, sat there on my thrift store couch in my one-bedroom apartment, staring at the blank screen. Let me take you back 17 years, to the last time my mother touched my face. I was 14. She was lying in a hospice bed that smelled like antiseptic and lavender. Someone had brought her a plant, and she kept it on the nightstand, even though the scent made her nauseous. She was so thin by then. Ovarian cancer had eaten through her for 18 months, and we all knew we were counting days, not weeks. Come here, little architect, she whispered. That was her name for me. I'd been building Lego houses since I was 6, entire neighborhoods. She always said I'd design real buildings someday. I leaned close. She smelled like sickness and lavender, and underneath it all, very faintly, like my mom. I need to tell you something, she said. Her hand found mine. Cold. Papery. Your father is going to remarry, probably within a year. Mom, listen. Her fingers tightened. He's going to prioritize Ethan. It's not because he doesn't love you. It's because Ethan will demand it, and your father won't know how to say no. She took a breath. It rattled. I've set up a college fund for you, equal to Ethan's. My friend Ellen Thompson is the executor. She'll make sure you get it when you turn 18. Why Ellen? I asked. Why not Dad? My mother's eyes filled. Because your father will give Ethan anything he asks for, and Ethan will ask for everything. She died 6 days later. At the funeral, Ellen Thompson found me in the bathroom, crying. She was my mother's college roommate, a lawyer, 53 years old, sharp-eyed and kind. She pressed a business card into my hand. Your mother loved you very much, she said. When you turn 18, call me. I'll explain everything. I kept that card for 4 years. Called her the day I turned 18. She took me to lunch at a quiet cafe on Northwest 23rd Avenue and explained that my mother had set aside $47,000 for my college education, the same amount Ethan had received. Where's the money now? I asked. Ellen's face went carefully blank. Your father told me Ethan needed it for law school. He said you'd decided not to go to college. I never said that. I know. Ellen slid a folder across the table. This is a copy of your mother's will. The fund was supposed to be protected, but your father is the trustee, and he has discretion over distributions. Legally, there's nothing we can do. I was 18. I worked 2 jobs that summer, one at a coffee shop, one cleaning houses. I enrolled in community college, paid my own tuition, got my associate's degree in 2 years, then my real estate license at 22. My first sale came 8 months later. A condo downtown, $340,000. My commission was $10,200. I called my father to tell him. He said, "That's nice, honey. Ethan just got an offer from Morrison and Klein. Starting salary is $95,000. My father remarried when I was 16. Her name was Brenda. She had a daughter from her first marriage, Victoria, who was Ethan's age. Brenda was fine, polite. She made dinner every Sunday and invited me, and I went because it felt worse not to. But Ethan changed after Mom died. Or maybe he'd always been like this, and I just hadn't noticed. He was 3 years older, 17 to my 14, and suddenly he was the one making decisions. Where we'd go for Thanksgiving, whether Dad would help me with my car insurance, whether I could come to family dinners if I had to work weekends. "Emily's always busy," he'd say. "Let's not wait for her." By the time I was 25, I'd closed 40 deals in 1 year. Top producer in my brokerage. I'd saved $180,000. I bought the house on Maple Ridge Drive when I was 28. 4 bedrooms, colonial style, new roof, big yard. It needed work, but it was mine. The first thing I'd ever owned outright. Ethan called me 2 months later. I need to ask you something." His voice was careful. "Lauren and I are looking for a place. We've been renting that apartment downtown, but it's too small. We want to start a family." "That's great," I said. "Dad suggested I ask you." A pause. "That house you bought, are you living in it?" I wasn't. I'd been fixing it up on weekends, painting, replacing cabinets, refinishing floors. I still lived in my apartment because it was closer to work. "Not yet," I said. "Could we stay there? Just temporarily. 6 months, maybe a year. We'll save up for our own down payment and then we'll move out." I should have said no. But he was my brother. And I wanted him to need me, to see me as someone who could help him. "Okay," I said, temporarily. He moved in 3 days later. That was 2 years ago. For the first 6 months, it was fine. Ethan texted me updates. "Fix the leaky faucet." Lauren planted flowers out front. I stopped by twice. The house looked good, better than I'd left it. But then the texts stopped. When I called, Ethan didn't answer. When I drove by, his car was in the driveway, but he didn't come to the door. I asked my father about it at Sunday dinner. "He's busy," Dad said. "New job, planning a wedding. You know how it is." "I just want to know when he's moving out." My father set down his fork. "Moving out?" "It's been a year and a half. He said it was temporary." "Emily." My father's voice was patient. The voice he used when I was being difficult. "Ethan's getting married. He needs stability. You're not even living in that house." "It's my house." "Technically." He picked up his fork again. "But you're not using it. Why not let him stay until he's ready to buy his own place?" "Because he said 6 months. Plans change." My father looked at Brenda. She nodded. "Family helps family, Em. Your mother would have wanted you to be generous." I left before dessert. 3 months ago, I got a phone call from a lawyer. Not Ellen Thompson, a different lawyer. His name was Richard Moss, and he worked at the same firm as Ethan. "Ms. Harper," he said, "I'm calling regarding the property at 2447 Maple Ridge Drive." My stomach dropped. "What about it?" "Your brother came to me with a question about adverse possession law in this state." Moss's voice was careful, professional. He wanted to know if occupying a property for 2 years, with permission, could establish a claim of ownership. "Adverse possession requires hostile occupation," I said. I'd looked it up after Ethan moved in, just in case. "He has permission to be there. That's not hostile." "Correct." Moss cleared his throat. I explained that to him. He seemed disappointed. "Why are you calling me?" "Because," Moss said slowly, "I'm not comfortable with the conversation we had. He specifically asked if there was a way to transfer ownership without your knowledge. I told him no. But I thought you should know." I hung up. Called Ethan. He didn't answer. I texted, "We need to talk about the house." No response. I drove to Maple Ridge Drive that afternoon. It was 4:30 p.m., a Tuesday. Ethan's car was in the driveway. Lauren's car, too. I knocked. No one answered. I used my key. I'd kept one because it was my house, and opened the door. The living room was redecorated. New couch, new curtains, photos on the wall. Ethan and Lauren at the beach. Ethan and Lauren at a wedding. Ethan and my father at a Thanksgiving dinner I hadn't been invited to. Not a single photo of me. I heard voices upstairs, walked up quietly. The master bedroom door was open. Ethan and Lauren were standing by the window, looking at paint swatches. "I think the blue," Lauren was saying. "It'll match the—" "Emily?" Ethan turned. His face went hard. "What are you doing here?" "I live here," I said. "You don't live here." His voice was sharp. "You haven't lived here in 3 years." "It's my house. Dad gave us this house." Lauren looked between us, confused. "Ethan, you said—" "Dad helped with the down payment," Ethan said quickly. "Emily's confused." "I'm not confused." My voice was shaking. "I bought this house. I'm on the deed. You've been living here rent-free for 2 years because I let you." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Get out." "It's my house. Get out, or I'm calling the police." He pulled out his phone. "You're trespassing." I looked at Lauren. She was staring at me like I was a stranger, like I was the crazy one. I left, drove home, sat in my apartment and tried to breathe. That night my father called. "What the hell were you thinking?" he said. "No hello, no how are you. You broke into their house?" "I used my key. It's my house." "You're upsetting Lauren. She's planning a wedding, Emily. She doesn't need this stress." "Dad, Ethan is lying to her. Ethan is trying to build a life." My father's voice rose. "You're being petty. You have an apartment. You don't need that house." "I bought it with money you made because I didn't charge you rent after your mother died." His voice was cold now. Final. "You lived with me for free until you were 22. 4 years. I could have charged you market rent, $1,200 a month. That's $57,000, Emily. You owe me." I hung up, sat there on my couch, staring at my phone. Then I called Ellen Thompson. She answered on the second ring. "Emily, I was wondering when you'd call." "How did you know?" "Because," Ellen said quietly, "your mother told me this would happen. 17 years ago, when she was dying, she made me promise to watch over you. She said Ethan would try to take everything, and your father would let him. She asked me to wait until you were ready to fight back. I don't want to fight." "I know." Ellen's voice was gentle. "But sometimes fighting is the only way to survive." 2 weeks later, I met Ellen at her office on Hawthorne Street. It was a small practice, just her and 2 paralegals. She made tea. We sat in her conference room, and she opened a file. "Your mother set up a trust," Ellen said, "separate from the college fund. She put $50,000 into it the year before she died. She wanted you to have something your father couldn't touch." I stared at the documents. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because your mother asked me not to. She said you'd need it when you were older, when you understood." Ellen slid a sealed envelope across the table. "She left this for you. She wrote it 3 weeks before she died." My hands were shaking as I opened it. The letter was 2 pages, handwritten in my mother's cramped, looping script. I read it twice before I could speak. The letter said, "Dear Emily, my little architect, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and Ethan is already doing what I knew he would do. I'm sorry I couldn't stop this while I was alive. I tried. I talked to your father 100 times about fairness, about protecting you, but he sees Ethan as an extension of himself. He'll give Ethan anything he asks for, and Ethan will ask for everything. Do you remember when you were 6, and you built that Lego house with the blue roof? You spent 3 hours on it. Ethan knocked it down in 3 seconds. You cried. And I told you, build again. Build better. Build something he can't knock down. The original trust documents are with Ellen. The deed to the house your grandmother left me is also with Ellen. I never told your father about it. It's a small property, 2 acres in the country, but it's worth $120,000. It's yours. He can't touch it. Inside this envelope you'll find the trust documents, $50,000, the deed to the property, a letter I wrote to your father before I died, asking him to protect you. He never read it. I gave it to Ellen instead. A savings bond in your name, $10,000, matures when you're 30. Don't show this to anyone. Not your father, not even Ethan. Wait until the right time. Ellen will know what to do. You are not selfish no matter what your father says. You are not difficult no matter what Ethan says. You are my little architect. You build beautiful things. You always have. All my love, Mom. P.S. When you're ready to build something he can't knock down, remember, you already own the blueprints. I sat there for a long time, holding the letter. Ellen refilled my tea, waited. I don't want revenge, I said finally. I know. Ellen folded her hands. But you do want your house back. Yes. Then let's get it back. The plan was simple. I'd sell the house. I was the legal owner. Ethan had no claim to it. I'd give him 30 days' notice to vacate, per state law. If he refused, I'd file for eviction. He'll fight, Ellen warned. Let him fight. I felt something harden inside me, something that had been soft for too long. He doesn't have a case. Your father will be furious. I know. Ellen looked at me for a long moment. Then she smiled. Your mother would be proud. I listed the house 3 days later. A couple from California made an offer within 24 hours. $790,000. Cash. Close in 2 weeks. I accepted. Ethan didn't know. I didn't tell him. I didn't tell my father. I waited. The wedding was set for Saturday. I wasn't invited. Ethan had told Lauren's family I was estranged, that I'd cut off contact years ago. Lauren's mother had seen me exactly once, at a family dinner 2 years ago. She probably didn't even remember. But Megan remembered. Megan had been my college roommate, my first sale client, my best friend for 13 years. When I told her about the house, about the wedding, about the plan, she said, "You need to be there." I'm not invited. So? Megan grinned. I am. Lauren's cousin is my coworker. I got a +1. You're coming. That's how I ended up at the Grandview estate last Saturday. I wore a navy dress, simple and forgettable. Megan wore red. We stood in the back during the ceremony. Ethan and Lauren exchanged vows under a flower arch. My father cried. I didn't. At the reception, Megan guilt-tripped Ethan into letting me stay. She's your sister, Megan said loudly, in front of Lauren's bridesmaids. It's your wedding. Let her say congratulations. Ethan's face tightened, but he nodded. Lauren looked uncomfortable but said nothing. That's when my father found us. That's when the confrontation on the terrace happened. That's when I left. But I didn't go home. I sat in my car in the parking lot, watched guests arrive, watched them laugh and dance and toast. At 7:15 p.m., I opened my laptop, pulled up the sale contract. The buyers had wired the funds that morning. The house was officially sold. Closing date, today. At 8:47 p.m., during the first dance, I could hear the music from the parking lot. I sent the email. Subject: 30-day notice to vacate Ethan. This is formal notice that the property located at 2447 Maple Ridge Drive has been sold. As the legal owner of record, I have accepted an offer of $790,000. Closing occurred today, Saturday, at 2 p.m. Per state law, you have 30 days to vacate the property. The new owners will take possession on date. All personal belongings must be removed by that date. Attached are copy of the deed, showing my name as sole owner, copy of the sale contract, copy of closing documents, county property records. You are welcome to verify this information with the county recorder's office. My real estate license number is number. All transactions are public record. I hope you and Lauren have a wonderful evening. Emily. I hit send. Then I called Megan. It's done, I said. Are you okay? I will be. I drove home, ordered Chinese food, watched a movie. At 10:23 p.m., my phone exploded. 17 missed calls from Ethan, 9 from my father. Texts flooding in. Ethan, you can't do this. Ethan, this is my house. Ethan, Dad will sue you. Ethan, you're insane. Dad, call me immediately. Dad, you've ruined his wedding. Dad, how could you be so cruel? I didn't respond. I turned off my phone, went to bed. The next morning, Sunday, Ellen called. Your brother's lawyer contacted me, she said. He wants to negotiate. There's nothing to negotiate. That's what I told him. Ellen sounded amused. He's claiming adverse possession. He has no case. I know, but he's going to try. Ellen paused. Emily, are you sure you want to do this? Your father will never forgive you. I know. Okay. Ellen's voice softened. Then let's finish what your mother started. The fallback came fast. Lauren called Megan, crying, saying she'd been lied to. Ethan had told her the house was a gift from my father, that I was bitter and jealous and making up stories. Now she didn't know what to believe. Believe the deed, Megan told her. It's public record. Lauren hung up. 2 hours later, she called back. I looked it up, she said quietly. The county website. Emily's name is on the deed. Ethan's isn't. I know, Megan said. He lied to me. Yes. For 2 years he told me this was our house. He told me his father bought it. He let me invite my family for Thanksgiving. He let my mother help us pick out furniture. Lauren's voice cracked. Who does that? I'm sorry, Megan said. Is she evicting us? The house is sold. The new owners take possession in 30 days. Where are we supposed to go? Megan didn't answer. What could she say? My father left me a voicemail on Monday. You're no longer my daughter, he said. His voice was shaking. What you did to Ethan, at his wedding, Emily, his wedding, is unforgivable. You're cruel. You're vindictive. Your mother would be ashamed. I listened to it 3 times. Then I deleted it. Tuesday morning, I got a call from Richard Moss, the lawyer who'd warned me about Ethan's adverse possession inquiry. I heard what happened, he said. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. Thank you. Your brother came to me today. He wants to sue you for breach of contract. He claims you had a verbal agreement to let him live there indefinitely. There was no agreement, I said. He asked to stay temporarily. I said yes. That's not a contract. I know, but he's going to try. Moss paused. I declined to represent him. Conflict of interest. But I thought you should know he's shopping for lawyers. Let him shop. One more thing, Moss said. He told his his wife, that you stole the house from him, that you forged the deed. I laughed. Couldn't help it. The deed is 3 years old. It's been recorded with the county for 3 years. How would I forge that? I know, but she's considering leaving him. She's staying with her parents right now. Good for her, Moss chuckled. You're tougher than your brother thought. I had a good teacher, I said. Wednesday, Ethan showed up at my brokerage. I was at my desk, finishing paperwork for a new client, when he walked in. My manager, Carol, stopped him at the front desk. I need to speak to Emily, Ethan said. She's with a client. It's an emergency. I looked up, saw him standing there in his suit, his face red, his hands clenched. Carol glanced at me. I shook my head. I'm sorry, Carol said. You'll need to make an appointment. I'm her brother. Then you should have her phone number. Carol's voice was pleasant but firm. If you don't leave, I'll call security. Ethan stared at me through the glass partition. I met his eyes, didn't blink, didn't look away. He left. Carol came to my desk. You okay? Yeah. I felt something loosen in my chest, something that had been tight for 17 years. I'm okay. Thursday, I got a letter from a lawyer. Not Ethan's, Ellen's. Inside was a copy of my mother's trust documents, officially filed and notarized. Attached was a note. Emily, your mother asked me to give you this when you were ready. I think you're ready now. The trust includes the property she left you, $120,000 value. The savings bond, $10,000, matured last year, and the original $50,000. Total assets, $180,000. Your mother also asked me to tell you something. She said, when Ethan tries to knock down what you've built, don't rebuild the same thing. Build something better. You've built something better. Congratulations, Ellen. I sat in my apartment holding the letter and cried for the first time in 2 years. Friday, 6 days after the wedding, I drove to the cemetery where my mother is buried. It's a small plot on the east side of town, under a maple tree. Her headstone is simple. Susan Marie Harper. Beloved Mother, 1965 to 2009. I sat on the grass next to her grave. It was quiet, late afternoon. The sun was warm on my face. I sold the house, I said out loud. Ethan's furious. Dad's not speaking to me, but I think you'd be okay with that. The wind moved through the maple leaves. I closed my eyes. I used to think family meant never giving up on people, I said. But you knew better. You knew some people will take everything you give them and still say it's not enough. You knew Ethan would erase me. You knew Dad would let him. I opened my eyes, looked at her name carved into stone. You protected me anyway. Even after you were gone, you gave me blueprints. I smiled. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for teaching me to build things he can't knock down. I stayed there for an hour, watched the sun set, felt the air cool. When I finally stood up to leave, I felt lighter, freer, like I'd been carrying something heavy for 17 years, and I'd finally put it down. Saturday, 1 week after the wedding, Megan took me to lunch. How are you? She asked. Honestly? I cut into my salad. I'm good. Lauren called me, Megan said. She left Ethan. She's filing for annulment. I'm sorry. Are you? Megan raised an eyebrow. I thought about it. No, not really. He lied to her for 2 years. She deserves better. He's been calling everyone in the family, Megan said, trying to get people on his side. Your Aunt Susan told him to grow up. Aunt Susan? Yeah. Apparently, she always thought your dad favored Ethan. She told him it was about time someone stood up to him. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Your dad, though, Megan said carefully. He's not backing down. He told people you stole the house. Let him tell people. I shrugged. The deed is public record. Anyone can look it up. You're really okay? I am. I meant it. For the first time in a long time, I'm okay. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a different apartment. A better apartment. 2 bedrooms, downtown, floor-to-ceiling windows. I bought it with the proceeds from the house sale. After paying off my mortgage, I cleared $380,000. I put half into savings, used the other half for the down payment. I haven't spoken to my father since the wedding. He's left me 14 voicemails. I haven't listened to any of them. Ethan sends me emails every few weeks, threatening to sue. Ellen forwards them to her spam folder. Lauren divorced him. She sent me a thank you card 3 months ago. It said, "Thank you for telling the truth. I'm sorry I didn't believe you sooner. I keep it on my fridge. My business is doing well. I closed 62 deals last year, my best year yet. Carol promoted me to senior agent. I have 3 junior agents working under me now. We're opening a second office in the spring. I don't think about Ethan much anymore. Or my father. I think about my mother sometimes, about the letter she left, about the trust she built, about the way she protected me even when she couldn't be there. I think about Ellen, who waited 17 years to deliver a sealed envelope. I think about Megan, who drove me home from that wedding and didn't ask questions, just made tea and sat with me until I was ready to talk. Last month, I went back to the cemetery. It was raining lightly. I brought flowers, white roses, her favorite. I put them on her grave and sat down in the wet grass. I'm building something new, I told her. Something Ethan can't touch, something Dad can't give away. It's mine, Mom. All mine. The rain fell. The wind moved through the maple tree. I stayed until the flowers were soaked through, until my jeans were damp, until I felt ready to leave. If you're watching this, and you've ever been erased, from photos, from family dinners, from stories people tell about their lives, I want you to know something. Being erased doesn't make you disappear. It just makes you harder to see. And sometimes the people who try to erase you are the ones who need you gone so they can rewrite history without you in it. You don't need anyone's permission to exist. You don't need anyone's approval to own what's yours. And you don't need anyone's forgiveness for refusing to disappear. The blueprints were always yours. Build something they can't knock down. If you've ever had to choose between staying silent to keep the peace or speaking up to keep yourself, type, I spoke up in the comments. Or if you're still deciding whether it's worth the cost, type, still deciding. Both are brave. Both are valid. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here.